Welcome to Arizona. From the awe-inspiring Grand Canyon to the vibrant city life of Phoenix and Scottsdale, whether you're exploring the stunning red rock formations of Sedona, marveling at the Hoover Dam, or just taking a scenic drive through Route 66, the state calls to anyone seeking adventure with unforgettable memories at every turn. However, before you set out to explore the stunning landscapes and historic sites, you might want to familiarize yourself with some of Arizona's more peculiar rules and regulations. One of the most iconic images of Arizona is that of the saguaro cactus found in the Sonoran Desert. Arizona takes the preservation of the cactus so seriously that the state has classified it as a protected native plant, and under Arizona Revised Statutes Title III, Section 932, punishes the unauthorized removal of said cactus with hefty fines and even a prison sentence of up to 25 years. Destroy one without permission, and you're looking at anything from a Class 1 misdemeanor to a Class 6 felony. You might be surprised to learn that the cactus in question is known to sprout white, waxy flowers in April through June. These blossoms are Arizona's official state flower. And even more surprising, Arizona Revised Statutes Title 41, Chapter 857 declares the bolo tie as the official state neckwear. In the city of Goodyear, Local Ordinance 11-1-15 notes that it is unlawful for any person to spit upon any of the public sidewalks or crosswalks in the city, or upon any public path, byway, or highway, or in any public ground or park in the city, or upon the floor or interior of any public building in the city. 11-1-10 also makes it unlawful to establish or maintain any soap factory. Also note 11-1-26D, a person shall only operate a leaf blower on a stabilized surface and shall not operate a leaf blower in a manner that causes landscape debris to be blown into a public roadway. So, good luck with that. The state of Arizona also has a sort of three-strike policy when it comes to tripping horses. Title 13, Chapter 29, Section 10, Subsection 09, a person who knowingly or intentionally trips an equine for entertainment or sport is guilty of a Class 1 misdemeanor. For the first violation, a criminal must spend 2 days in jail and pay a fine of at least $1,000. For the second violation, they must serve at least 30 days in jail and pay a fine of at least $2,000. And for the third and every subsequent violation, they must serve at least 90 days in jail and pay a fine of at least $3,000. As far as I can tell, there's no max out for that provision, but I'd say after like half a dozen incidents, it's time to start asking questions. Title 13, Chapter 30, Section 02 makes it a Class 1 misdemeanor to send a telegraph or telephone message pretending to be someone that you aren't. This is a good law, although it could maybe use some updating to keep pace with technology. It's been a minute since I got scammed over Morse code. I personally found Title 13, Chapter 31, Section 16 interesting. A person commits misconduct involving body armor by knowingly wearing or otherwise using body armor during the commission of any felony offense. If guilty, they tack on an additional Class 4 felony to whatever it was you were charged with. Arizona also does not mess around with people being belligerent in caves. Title 13, Chapter 37, Section 02 makes it illegal to break off, crack, carve upon, write, or otherwise mark upon, or in any manner destroy, mutilate, injure, deface, remove, displace, mar, or harm petroglyphs, pictographs, or any natural material found in any cave or cavern, or kills, harms, or disturbs plant or animal life. Defacing or damaging petroglyphs, pictographs, caves, or caverns is a Class 2 misdemeanor. In other words, you can be punished by up to 4 months in jail and fines up to $750. Plus, you'll get the added reputation of being a total jerk. Title 13, Chapter 37, Section 2.1 covers state laws regarding tattoos. It is a Class 6 felony to intentionally brand, scarify, implant, mutilate, tattoo, or pierce the body of a minor without the physical presence of the minor's parent or legal guardian giving the okay for the brand, scar, tattoo, implant, mutilation, or piercing. This is the lowest class of felony in the state. A conviction can result in fines, probation, or a prison sentence in the Arizona Department of Corrections, typically between 4 months to 5.5 years. You might have read online that Arizona has strict laws regarding camel hunting, despite the fact that camels are not native to the state. This is sort of true. It's mostly based on a variety of old wives' tales, ranging from, in 1855, Jefferson Davis, the Secretary of War, supposedly convinced the U.S. Army to import herds of camels from the Middle East, to a conniving Arizona games warden who used the law to extort money from circus and railroad operators. Neither of those stories are likely actually true. A cursory search of Arizona's state law reveals absolutely nothing about camels specifically for as far back as the records go. However, Arizona Revised Statutes Title 17, Section 306 and 314 does provide protections for imported wildlife as a whole, so yes, the camel thing is a law in the technical sense. In El Mirage, Arizona, Code 130.18 makes it unlawful to erect, display, or use any clothesline or other structure on which articles of clothing are placed to dry in the front or side yard of any residence unless the clothesline or other structure is within a fence, wall, or other enclosure around the perimeter of the residence which completely conceals the clothesline or other structure from the view from any street adjacent to the residence. Clothesline bans pop up quite often in my research for this series. I do not understand why. Like, up until the 1930s, it was perfectly normal to air dry your clothes. Evidently, the prevailing thinking nowadays is that clotheslines like lower property values or make neighborhoods unappealing. I don't get it, but whatever. Several may be aware of Arizona's so-called stupid motorist law. Put on the books in 1995, State Statute 28-910 says that any driver who ignores road closure signs during floods and subsequently ends up stranded in high water and in need of rescue must foot the bill themselves, plus additional liability up to $2,000. This was actually the first law of its kind in the United States and has since gone on to be adopted in Volusia County, Florida. Let this be a reminder, as we say here in Missouri, when in doubt, turn around, don't drown. I continue to be oddly fascinated by the various legal stances this nation has concerning fortune tellers. Citizens of Avondale, Arizona are dead set against them altogether. City Ordinance 15-1 states any person engaging in the practice of fortune telling, palm reading, or palmistry, and accepting therefore any form of compensation whatsoever, direct or indirect, whether by way of fee or donation, is guilty of a misdemeanor. They're also not too hot on hypnotists. 15-2, it shall be unlawful for any person to practice hypnotism or for any person to be a subject, but this section shall not apply to hypnotism as used in the treatment of patients by an accredited doctor of medicine or doctor of dentistry. Why do dentists get a pass? Because in the 1950s and 1960s, hypnotism gained popularity as an alternative way for some dentists to help patients relax, reduce anxiety, and manage pain without the use of pharmaceuticals. You know who else gets a pass in their job? Security guards at nuclear power plants. Title 13, Chapter 43, Section 03 authorizes armed nuclear security guards to use deadly force if necessary to protect the plant they are guarding. Subsection D, an armed nuclear security guard is not subject to civil liability for engaging in conduct that is otherwise justified pursuant to this chapter. There's just nothing quite like riding a motorcycle motorcycle along the sites of Arizona, and as far as safety is concerned, the state lets adults choose to put their lives in their own hands. Chapter 28, Section 964, riders under the age of 18 must wear a helmet at all times, but if you're over 18, you don't have to wear one, but you must wear protective glasses, goggles, or a transparent face shield, and until the year 2015, you couldn't ride a bike with high handlebars. Just as a personal note, please wear a helmet. Phoenix, Arizona has quite a few charming local ordinances. If you are being a public nuisance, that is, doing anything which is obnoxious to health, or is indecent, or is offensive to the senses, or is an obstruction to the free use of property so as to interfere with the comfortable enjoyment of life or property by any considerable number of persons, Section 23-11A makes you guilty of a misdemeanor. All of Chapter 23, the so-called Morals and Conduct section, seems devoted to ensuring people can't be just generally annoying during day-to-day life, and is certainly worth a read-through on your own time. Highlights include Section 23-12, prohibiting unreasonably loud and disturbing noises. 23-17 prevents you from revving your car's engine or honking your horn around hospitals. To cut down on dangerous street fights, Section 23-39 outlaws brass knuckles, blackjacks, slungshots, and billies. Section 23-42 regulates discharging firearms, BB guns, and slingshots. 23-43 makes it illegal to build a firebomb. 23-50, it is hereby declared to be a nuisance, and it shall be unlawful for any person to bury the body of a human being within the corporate limits of the city, except, of course, in a cemetery. Section 23-71, any person who, in the presence or hearing of any woman or child in any place within the city, shall use vulgar or obscene language, or who shall use vile or abusive epithets of or to any other person in the presence of any woman or child, shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. Subsection B, any person who willfully or lewdly sings any lewd or obscene song, ballad, or other words in any public place or in any place where there are persons present to be annoyed thereby, shall be guilty of a misdemeanor too. And Section 23-72 pretty much covers the rest of it. It shall be unlawful for any person to expose, sell, give away, or offer to sell or give away, or to have in his possession for such purposes any indecent, lewd, obscene book, picture, paper, or thing. Don't do illegal things. Across the great US of A, from the picturesque shores of Oregon to the sunny beaches of Florida, laws exist to preserve the nation's natural beauty, ensure fair play, and maintain public decorum. And while some states disagree about how to get there, ideally, all these laws work together to help us form a more perfect union. Or something. This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful website. Start the process with Squarespace Blueprint, their new guided design system. Answer simple questions about what you want your site to be, then choose from a slew of beautiful layout and styling options that you can customize however you want. If you've got an idea for a podcast, their Audio Blocks feature makes setting one up a total breeze, and if you've got stuff to sell, their online storefront takes the headache out of processing payments. Head to squarespace.com to start a free trial today. Then when you're ready to launch your site in full, head over to squarespace.com/AustinMcConnell to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.